I recently wrote a book that there is something about this name. The name Jesus is the most powerful name that has been given to us. That at the mention of the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. When you learn the power of calling on the name of Jesus, when you call him right, you understand that he is not the source of truth. He is truth itself. I tell you, if you get a hold of this book, you will not be able to put it down. It's a book that will give you the knowledge of how to really use this name. When you understand how to use the name of Jesus, there is nothing that will stand in your way that will not bow. It must bow at the name of Jesus. Get this book. You will be blessed.
Don't let what you've done hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they've said hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A woman without limits. Yes, you are. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. Woman, 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 woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits.
Good evening, viewers. You're welcome to Woman Without Limits. My name is Reverend Kathy Kiuna, and it's always a delight to have you tuned in. Woman Without Limits is here to impact generations. We are here to change and transform your lives. I want you to understand that that's what we are all about, because our desire is to see you changed. Then we'll know that we truly are doing what we are supposed to do. Now, we bring different stories from different people that come and tell us what God has done in their lives. People that have come from so far, and God has seen them through so much. But today, they can give a testimony and say, surely, God has done it for them. This is what Woman Without Limits is all about, to let you know that you, too, can have your story told. You can also have it changed and turned around in spite of how you started. And today, it's not going to be any different. We're just taking it on a higher notch. Teresa's story is a roller coaster. Her name is Teresa Njoroge, and she's gone through a roller coaster of events through life. If this doesn't change you, I don't know what ever will. You're welcome, Teresa.
Thank you.
It's so
Thank
wonderful
you,
to have you on set.
Asante, my pleasure.
Yeah.
An honor to finally meet you in person.
Finally.
Finally.
And you look so gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
You too.
Thank you.
Asante.
Thank you. Yeah, so Teresa,
Yeah.
tell us about you. Who is Teresa? And nice dimples. Wow.
Asante, thank you.
Yeah.
Teresa Njoroge, a Kenyan citizen, mother of two, wonderful world change makers, I believe.
Wow.
Oma Wanjiku Njoroge, 7 years old now. And Uhuru Thiongo Njoroge.
Uhuru.
Almost, yes.
Does it have anything to do with our Uhuru?
Oh my goodness me, it's freedom. So Uhuru Thiongo Njoroge, 5 years old. Yeah, so a mother
just
of
freedom.
two.
It doesn't have to anything to do with the first family.
No, it doesn't have anything
Just
to do with that.
checking.
Yes. Good to check.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and I ran Clean Start, a social organization called Clean Start. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started from the end.
Yes.
Let's go to the beginning.
Sure.
You tell us about you and where you grew up, and who is Teresa?
Njoroge, yeah. So I grew up in Nanyuki. I was born in Nairobi, but work took my parents to Nanyuki. And that's where I grew up, Nanyuki Primary School, a small town then in the 80s. beautiful, good neighborhoods, and work again brought us back to Nairobi.
And Nanyuki is quiet, actually.
It is.
Very quiet, very laid back.
Yes.
Few people.
Yeah. Mount Kenya, the rivers.
Mount Kenya, please. So you would walk to Mount Kenya?
Yes.
Was it that close?
Exactly.
Wow.
And evenings were made of throwing stone pebbles in the river with Dad and Mom. It was amazing. Like, really beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you stayed up to a few years, then you came to Nairobi?
Yeah. High school. By the time I got to high school, my parents got back to Nairobi.
Okay.
So again, high school in Nairobi, and then left Nairobi, traveled to India for my undergrad, and 3 years, and then got back again to Nairobi for work.
And what were you doing? What did you do in school?
I studied Bachelor's of Commerce, and I majored in banking and finance. That was a dream come true.
Right.
Because as young as I can remember, since I was 9 years old, I wanted to be a banker, just like my father, who's been a career banker for about 3 decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So by the time I was going to campus, I knew exactly what I wanted to study. I wanted to do banking and finance, and that's exactly where I wanted to be when I came back.
You admired him?
So very much. He's always been my role model. Ever since I was a young girl, my dad was.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
When a father is a role model, especially to a girl.
Yes.
Her life
very
gets impacted in a way that is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
You know, even relationship-wise.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. He
So
mentored me through it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you the only girl?
No.
Yeah.
I was the firstborn. And funny enough, I was the only one who took after his footsteps. I have 3 sisters and a brother.
Right.
Yeah, younger.
Okay. So you're the only one who became a banker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. How long did you come back and start working?
Yeah. So 2 years post-graduation.
Yeah.
I started out in the hospitality industry, working within the hotel, sales and marketing, and I loved it. But because that desire was inside me, I want to be a banker like my dad was, and that's what I studied. I kept aggressively looking for opportunities to get into the banking sector. 2 years on, I did land into the banking and financial sector in this town, and it was such a moment for me.
Right.
I had prepared for this platform for 2 decades.
You were ready.
I was ready.
And set.
And set.
Like, okay, let's do this.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
did you land on a good one?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Right.
And got into banking, and within the first 3 to 4 years, I was in supervisory and management roles. For me, banking, those doors opening, it wasn't something that just happened. I had prepared for this. And I knew I wanted to get to the highest level possible within the banking sector.
Wow.
Yeah. Having watched my dad throughout my life, really admiring the way he provided for our family, the financial stability it brought, the progression in his personal life that it gave him, I knew there was something here. I just wanted to embrace it all and give it my best. I grew that career ladder very fast, because it's something that I had prepared for close to 2 decades since I was a young girl.
Right.
And I really wanted to do this from the bottom of my heart.
Wow.
Give it my best. And the additions that came with that was that I was able to partner with my parents and take care of my younger siblings, and push them to the highest level of education that they wanted to go for. And that gave me a lot of satisfaction as an individual. Yes, it did.
Isn't it something when you just make a difference in someone's life?
It is.
That's
it
fulfilling.
Really is. Yeah. And when you're doing something while you're doing something you love,
enjoying
at it.
Right.
I loved banking from the bottom of my heart.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad had really impacted on me through that career.
Right.
In that way.
Okay.
So,
and you saw him climbing up. So you're like, if he can do it,
I too want to do it.
Wow.
And it seems to be working okay.
Yeah.
Step by step. And by the 7th year, I was in, very senior management level. And I was like, this is it.
As a young single girl there.
Exactly. Yes. And I was like, this is exactly what I dreamt of.
Right.
And God has been very gracious. It's really working. Because I was a very strong Christian as well, I knew everything started and ended with God. I knew who he was, I knew what he's capable of doing, and I knew he's journeyed with me ever since I can remember. And everything I have desired, he's made that possible for me. So this is great, a beautiful life, being a young Christian, and I could testify of who he was.
Wow.
So it was exciting,
Wow.
I must say.
Right.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you continued to climb.
Yes.
Right.
And aim for more.
So how long did you work in that first job?
The first bank, I worked there for 3 years, 4 months.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from another international bank where I worked for a year, 7 months. And
But how would you compare the two?
it was, oh my goodness me, such growth, more responsibilities. When you're working in an international bank, it's very different from a local bank because, of course, of where you're reporting to, the kind of clientele you're looking for, the targets that you have are much, bigger, and you're relating with more people than those who are just in the country. You're also relating with people outside. So it makes you look even up and more higher with the interactions
your
you have.
eyes.
Exactly, it
Yeah.
does.
So you
It
loved
does.
the second one too.
Yeah, I
So
left the second
you're
one.
you're still growing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then I got to the third one. But switching from my second bank to the third one was not for me something that I wanted to do or something that I had planned. Well, I was in my second place of work, the second bank, and this was now 7 years into it, and sort of middle management. I happened to handle a fraudulent transaction unknowingly.
Wow. Unknowingly.
Yeah, unknowingly. A customer comes in just like any other day, and he was from another branch, but still with the same bank, and requested for our branch to pay him. So we went through the due diligence and exactly what we're meant to do when a customer from another branch comes. And we were quite a number of employees involved to pay that particular transaction because you can't execute it by yourself.
Right.
You've got to do it in connection with the mother branch where this customer is from. And of course, I had a manager who I reported to, the branch manager, and cashiers and my assistant. And we all came together, did what we were meant to do, and paid the customer. 2 weeks later, I get a call from the mother branch, and they tell me, Teresa, the customer that you paid 2 weeks ago is now here. And I'm like, okay, how may we help? He says he did not make the withdrawal from his account. And I'm like, exactly what do you mean?
Like what?
And I immediately told my assistant then, and my assistant's first reaction, could you please request the customer to wake up and remember exactly what happened? Because he was right here. And I'm thinking, exactly. And all the authorization that this transaction went through. Because
And you even called the bank,
exactly,
the main bank?
yes. And they checked the signatures, they checked everything. And like 2 weeks later, you didn't withdraw the money. So for me, what that meant was, oops, we've hit something that's not really
You
nice.
knew it? You sensed it immediately?
Yeah, I knew this is not looking good. This is not looking good.
Was it a lot of money?
You can get it. It was. It was.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about 10 million Kenya shillings.
Hello.
Like that. Yeah. And it was very clear we've been hit.
Immediately they made that call.
Yeah,
You knew,
I knew
I'm done.
something
This
is
it.
amiss. Something here is amiss.
Because how can he say you didn't pay?
Exactly.
And you even involved other people. You
Yes.
weren't alone.
I wasn't the only one who paid this. It's gone through the branch manager. It's gone through other members of staff.
You
It's
even called that branch.
exactly. They have authorizations that they did on their end. So exactly what are we talking about here? But for me at that point, I was like, we've got to get to the person who dropped the ball. We've got to know exactly where this happened. We've got to get to the bottom of this. But as much as I knew that was happening, I didn't know what my career held ahead of this. Because I mean, you've been involved in a fraudulent transaction. So it doesn't sit very pretty.
For even your career.
Yes,
And
it doesn't.
future. And
yes.
oh my.
Yeah, yeah, So stress checks in, and immediately head office, the fraud department, oh my word, tension, panic at the bank, we've been hit, yes we have. An investigation start. And the whole chain that paid this transaction, everyone gets their turn to be interrogated, to be investigated. It's all kinds of questioning, what happened. And I couldn't wait for my turn because I was going to say exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I too want to know exactly what happened and who dropped the ball. And when I was called, I gave the entire narration, but it wasn't sweet. Oh my word, going through bank investigations when a fraud has happened, you wouldn't wish it even to your enemy. It's grueling, it's tough.
And because they're
It's
asking
tough.
you like,
You know, like you're a suspect, you know? And you're thinking to yourself, I did the best that I could do.
and maybe at that time you're even very broke.
Yeah, oh my word. Oh my word.
What?
Yes. You know, and you're thinking, I really want the best for you. I really want you to get to the bottom of this. I really want us to unravel this.
Yeah.
And month came, another month came, and you could see people being terminated from work, and you're wondering what's going to happen to me. So when all this is happening, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the worst that will happen is that I will be fired.
Yeah, of course.
That's the worst that will happen.
That's what I want to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, so when I'm fired, this is all I have known in my mind ever since I was 9 years old. This is all that I have ever wanted to do. And it's about to come crumbling down right on my face. So exactly what will I do once they fire me? And this is the thing, and we should be very careful how we talk to our colleagues or our friends or family. I remember a colleague say to me, Teresa, now that this has happened, this is exactly where the end of the road is. Your career in banking has been dented. There is no bank that will ever want to touch you. And I asked her, really? And she said to me, yeah. And she even gave me an example of a lady who had handled a fraudulent transaction many years back and what happened to her. And I was like, oh, okay, so let me prepare myself for this
the
worst. My career in banking is done. And yeah.
Your dream from
9 years old, watching my dad and telling my dad exactly how I want to be just like him, and him investing in mentoring me and journeying with me. And so it was not just my dream, it was a family's dream coming true.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, we're about to close this chapter in a very unceremonious manner. It broke our hearts. And just thinking about leaving this sector in a way where I wouldn't be living in very good books hurt me as well. Like, goodness, even if I'm going to start whatever it is I'm going to start, and just people knowing that and then those doubts, did you steal the money? What exactly happened? So this cloud hanging over you, and
it's so frustrating.
Yeah, you really don't know how to explain it. And at that moment, I'm really trying to explain exactly what happened, and people are looking at you like might you?
We don't know about all that.
Might you not?
Yeah.
But when all this was going on, another international bank called me. And I'm like, God, really? So I say to myself, you know what, this bank's talk, it's a very small community. I'm just going to say exactly what happened. If they take me, well and good. If not, well.
You tried.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went to them and I said, this is exactly what has happened. This is where I am at in my career. And I've happened to handle this fraudulent transaction. Investigations are still ongoing. I really don't know what the final report will be. Yeah, that's where I am. And then they say to me, we're taking you, irrespective.
Wow. Wow.
And at that point I thought, God.
You smiled.
You are a God of second chances. I was just about to be done.
And give up.
And you're still giving me this
and
opportunity.
And you had a friend who told you impossible.
You're done.
You're done. It's
done
over.
is
it's
the
a wrap.
word. Because you will never get a reference letter from here. This bank's talk this is it. This
over.
is the end of your journey. So when I got to this new place of work, I was like, I'll give them my best. They've believed in me. They've given me another chance. I'll give it all I have. And that's exactly what I did. And as I gave it my best and shown and got the targets in, whatever it is I was mandated to do, did exactly that, grew that asset book like no other before, made sure that the liabilities grew and we were doing well, and made sure that my bosses were happy. We're doing very well, just because they had given me that second chance. One day, as I was serving my customers, people walk in and, Teresa Njoroge, yes, that's me. Do you remember this and that transaction that you had handled at Bank X? And I was like, yeah, I remember. And my first question was like, did you get to the bottom of it? Did you get to who had done that? Who had defrauded the bank? And they said no, and that's exactly why we're here. And I was like, perfect. Let me just finish serving this customer and I'll be with you in just a moment. And then they said to me, no, you can't even finish serving that customer. We really urgently need to have you. And I was like, okay, this sounds like you're
funny.
not even, yeah. Okay, so let me pick my bag and I'll show you. No. Forget even about your bag. We really want to talk
like
to
come
you.
now.
Like now. And I'm like, this is urgent. And they say to me, you're under arrest. And I'm thinking, goodness, what? Wait a minute. Me? Under arrest?
For?
For what? And they say to me,
Ooh.
you're under arrest for defrauding your former employer and for stealing the money. And I'm thinking, no, you've got the wrong
This is
person.
a dream, yeah.
And I thought, you're joking at first. I thought you're kidding me, right? And they're like, no. And I'm like, but you've got the wrong person. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I did not do it. And so I resisted. And you can imagine at the bank,
In
your
front of
colleagues, the
everyone.
customers, like what's going on here. And they escorted me out. So I couldn't pick my bag. I couldn't pick nothing. I was under arrest and I was shown door out. And we're going with you.
While everybody
is
watched.
watching. So as we're going, I'm still resisting. And I'm like, how can you make such a mistake? You've got the wrong person. I did not steal that money.
Yeah.
And as I resisted, the arresting officer actually said to me, indeed, you did not steal the money. We know that. And could you please cooperate? Because we all know you didn't steal the money. You have to carry the cross on behalf of the bank. His words verbatim. Yeah.
You are definitely joking.
That's exactly
Teresa,
what I
what
thought.
do you mean?
Yes. You are going to carry the cross on behalf of the bank. Even we know you didn't steal the money. And that's after I have resisted, told them the way, cried, told them the way they have the wrong person. And they were like, enough. You know what? Enough of crying, enough of telling us the way you didn't steal the money. We too know you didn't. Yeah, but this is what's happening. And so they took me to the fraud department. Yeah.
This is like a myth. No, we need
Yeah.
to sell her. Like we need to breathe. What?
I know exactly what you mean, because at
No,
that
that's
moment,
ridiculous.
yes, it is.
Like in the presence of everybody, they
Yes.
didn't even call you aside, let you pick nothing.
Nothing, and you know I didn't do this, and you're still going ahead with it. Like, where do we live? Which country am I in?
Wow.
Yeah. And in my tears, they asked me to, write a statement, like write exactly what happened on that day. And I'm thinking, if I write my whole truth and nothing but the truth, maybe these people will wake up and let me go home or wherever it is I'm going from here. So I wrote exactly what happened that day. And they're sitting relaxed, chilled out, and I'm thinking, am I dreaming? What exactly has happened? That day was tough.
What?
That day was very
And they
tough.
took you with them.
They did. I rode in their car. There's someone on my right, there's someone on my left, there are people in front. And 1 minute I was an employee, and here I am huge criminal, huge suspect. I'm guarded, like I can't go even to the ladies by myself.
No.
There has to be someone escorting me lest I disappear. Things just changed. I couldn't call even my own parents. I couldn't call them until I'm done with this statement. So after I completed writing this, I'm telling you, I wrote that statement for hours because I was still pinching myself.
Is it true? Is this happening?
Yeah.
Am I really here?
What is happening? So when I was done, it was evening now, and I was like, so here's the statement. What next? And can I please call my parents and let them know? Plus, I need to call my youngest sister, whom I live with, to let her know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And so they told me, yeah, you really need to call them. Here's your phone, because you need to let them know that you're not going home tonight.
No, you're not just writing the statement.
Yeah.
Even home, you're not going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? Yeah.
What?
It
Like
was just too
what
much.
are you talking about?
It's like,
And they're dropping the bombs like that.
like, yeah, one after the other. So I call my young sister and I tell her, I'm not at work. I got arrested. And my sister's like, what do you mean?
Arrested for what?
Exactly. And I'm like, do you remember when I used to work for Bank X and we were talking about these transactions? So they've said that I'm the one who told my sister just come, and I'm telling her, you need to sober up because you need to call mom, you need to tell dad, you need to help me call people and let them know. She can't even absorb the news. And she's crying and she's all hysterical. What do you mean? And she wants all these details, and we don't have much time.
Yeah.
Because they've told me I'm not coming home. So let me call mom. Let's call whoever we can call. So I call home and I tell them I was arrested. I'm at this and this place. They've told me I'm not going home. Yeah. So where are you? Yeah. And my dad just can't get it. What do you mean?
Of course, yeah. What do you mean you're not going home?
You went to
by
work?
who? Yeah.
You got arrested and now you're not going home? What's going on?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
And with all their questions.
That's
Where are
crazy.
you? So I tell them exactly where I am. And then they now come back to me and tell me, enough, you've made enough phone calls. And I'm like, you're even limiting how many phone calls I make, whom I make them to. And so they were like, now the Land Rover is outside. I'm like, okay. So we're going to escort you to the Land Rover. We're taking you to a police station. What do you mean?
Hey.
And they're like, yes, where you will spend the night tonight. This is a joke. So I'm now no longer crying. This shock is too much. You came for me at work, told me you're arresting me for a crime I've not committed, made me write a statement, and now you're taking me to spend the night at a
In
police
some
station.
cell. Yeah.
And I didn't do this. And the Land Rover came and I was resisting. So these women officers came and they pushed me towards the Land Rover because apparently the men couldn't touch me, thank God. And they take me to this Land Rover. But at that time, it was so low for me. Between CBD and Kileleshwa police station, I cannot tell you what I saw. I was so
Broken.
I just don't know.
Broken,
Yeah.
confused.
All I knew is that I left CBD and I'm now in Kileleshwa police station, being shown my cell.
This is like a myth.
So they register me in the book and they hand me over to the police station. And so I request the police if I could now call my parents and let them know where I am. So I call my parents. My parents are in Kiambu, and I'm telling them, so now I'm in Kileleshwa police station, and this is where I'm going to spend the night. And then I call my young sister who I was living with, and I tell her this is where I am. And then I call my boss, and I tell her, oh, I left work. I was taken to this place. I'm now at Kileleshwa police station. Everyone is like, you're kidding.
Like you're joking. Of course.
For real? So they all come and start pleading, can we have our daughter back? Can we have our colleague out, and they tried to, you know, talk to the police, but unfortunately they couldn't let me go. So that was that night. From the time I was put in that cell to morning, I saw it come and go. I couldn't sleep, just looking up.
Shock.
Wondering, couldn't make sense of it. In the morning, the arresting officer was on time, as he had told me he'd come for me. And he told me the Land Rover is waiting. And I was like, yeah, so exactly where are we going? And he asked me, as we were, because I had so many questions. So where are you taking me? What is this about? So he asked me along our way back to CBD, would you have 1 million Kenya shillings? And I told him, 1 million Kenya shillings?
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money. And my naivety, I even told him, the little money I had, I've paid for my brother's school fees, I've paid for my younger sister this school fees, I have just done A, B, C, D. I don't have any money. It was January and we had just come from December holidays. It was January, around 7th of January 2009. And I'm like, I'm actually waiting for my end of month salary. I don't have money right now. Paid school fees, did what I had to do at home. I don't have that kind of money. He said, it's really bad that you don't have that kind of money. It's really bad.
I wish you did.
He said, yeah, I know. Exactly. And he asked me, do you know anyone with that kind of money? Because I think you need to be knowing someone with that kind of money. And I said, goodness me, even my dad doesn't have that cash money with him right now. He doesn't have it. He doesn't, because we did all our things together. So I knew he didn't have that cash with him. At that point, he's now taking my fingerprints. Sasa unajua wewe ni criminal. And he's taking my fingerprints, putting them all, stabbing all over. Here. You're a criminal. Do you know why we take these fingerprints? As I'm so absorbing all this shock and whatever he's doing, there's a paper he's going through, and I'm thinking, what's that paper? And he keeps looking at it, he looks at me, keeps looking at it. Little did I know that that's my charge sheet. And those are the counts, my counts that he's reading, he's looking at. Well, he's asking me if I have 1 million bob. Little did I know. I only got to know way later. So we go to court. Court then was where the Supreme Courts are right now. And I remember getting into that courtroom and there was all these cameras and all this lighting. And I was like, goodness, what's going on here? I had never been to court. And why are they taking my photos? You know, why is everyone taking my photos? Yeah. What's going on? And everyone wants a good photo of my face. What's all this? So I'm standing there and I'm in the clothes I wore yesterday morning to go to work. I've not taken a bath. I'm thinking I don't even have makeup. Yeah. Goodness. And so I stand there and my name is called out. Teresa Njoroge. Yes, that's me.
And you're almost saying, and I need to be let out.
Not only let out, can we get this straight? Yes. Because these people have the wrong person here. Yeah. And I couldn't wait to get my moment to set that straight.
Right.
And so the magistrate goes like, on this and this particular day, you stole this amount of money. I wanted to jump. Me? Stole that money? No way. That wasn't me. Yeah. It's not me. I didn't steal that money.
Right.
And I'm thinking that's the only thing he's telling me. And he goes on and on and on to tell me about the money I've stolen. Guilty or not guilty? Definitely not guilty.
Of course.
I wish I could tell you how much not guilty I am.
In capital letters.
Exactly. And then there goes the bombshell. I need to pay a bill of 1 million bob.
Oh. Is that why you were being asked whether you have 1 million? Oh my, okay.
So, and I say I don't have the 1 million Kenya shillings. So, in lieu of not having the 1 million Kenya shillings, you will be held in remand. Your case starts I think I was given a date in March, and we're talking of January. And I will be held until March when I'll be back here, yes. And within no minutes, I had been locked in some dungeon cells underneath, escorted by these women, officers.
Whoa.
So down there in those cells, and so they start breaking it down for me.
In English?
Yeah. Kwa vile sasa hauna hiyo 1 million, tunangojea basi itakupeleka huko Langata Women Prison.
Whoa. Yesterday you were at work. Today you are headed for prison. Hey, okay.
And you know how we do our resolutions for the new year? You should have seen my January resolutions for what I want to achieve that year. Hardly a week into the new year, I'm in this cell waiting for a bus to take me to a prison that I have never been to. And that place stank. Dark. I was just, what am I doing here? Hundreds of you locked up in a small cell. The language that is being used here, like, goodness, where is this? Is this Kenya? Because you're used to your home,
Yeah,
you're used to
your comfort.
in the corporate world.
Yeah.
You never even think about what goes on in those cells. To be honest, I thought those who do wrong, that's where they're taken to be corrected. I never ever thought you will be innocent going about your duties, building this nation, to find yourself there, doing what?
Yeah. Whew. No, that's tough. That's tough. Oh my. That's tough for anybody.
It was tough. It really was tough.
And did they take you then, after that, to prison?
They did.
What?
They did.
What?
I rode in that Kenya prison bus and went to Langata Women Maximum Prison Remand. I couldn't believe it when those doors closed behind me.
For money you did not steal.
When I got to prison, to the remand section, that's when I knew what my photos were all about. They came to me and said, "You were in the papers yesterday. You're the bank thief." And
The other prisoners.
Exactly.
Oh.
And the officers, because they had read the papers.
Yes. You're the thief.
You're the bank thief, because the heading read, "Bank Manager Thief." And my name's right there. And we actually saw you, 4 o'clock news, you were there. It was lunchtime news. Yes, read by Catherine Kasavuli. It was you, we saw you, the thief. And I'm like, goodness, okay, so the whole world now knows. Oh my word, that's why they
Wow.
really needed a good shot of me. Yeah, I was in the news. I
Wow.
was.
What are you thinking now? What are you thinking at this moment?
How? How in the world?
How did I get myself here?
But with that welcome of the bank thief is finally here, she was the one, and she's this one. So I'm reading my story in the paper that covered me. And I'm thinking to myself, anyway, first looking at the cell, we were sleeping on the floor, and you should see those mattresses. It was bad. It was really bad. And we're all these women locked up in this cell. This is not a place I even want to be. I even couldn't believe there are women living like this. So as I sat on the floor, on that mattress, and in shock, and I'm now in the striped
Uniform. Are you scared?
Very, because I know prison is a place where criminals are brought, people who've done wrong, and I'm thinking, gosh, what will they do to me? We've been locked in here. How will I survive? Where is this I am at? For real? So after I absorbed all the shock, I started asking those women, so why are you here? I mean, you all know I'm here because I'm a bank thief. So could you now please let me know?
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, let me know who you are, why you're here.
Yeah.
And you know, they were very interested because they really want to know,
How did you steal
that money?
And 10 million,
Yeah.
you are a bad girl.
And then where is it? Where is the money? Yeah, where is the money? How did you execute this one?
You are a serious...
I'm thinking, God. And everyone in prison says I didn't do it.
Yes.
And there I am with the same line. I didn't do it. I didn't steal. And they're thinking, gosh, save us that line.
Give us a break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very keen. So why are you here? And the shock on me. Oh, I couldn't pay a bill of 500 bob. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You're here because you couldn't pay 500 shillings? Yeah, I'm here because I couldn't pay a bill of 2,000 bob. And I'm thinking, no, we're joking. And so they've already said to me, they asked you for $1 million. So in their language, utaskuma hapa.
Oh no. I'm sorry, it just sounds so funny.
I know.
Utaskuma. 10
Utaskuma
million.
hapa. Iyo.
Utailipia.
Hapa tu. Iyo ni mingi sana. And I'm like, yeah, ni mingi sana. So explain to me why you're here for 1,000 bob. Because coming from the corporate world and
Right.
the lunches we will do, and I mean, just 1,000 bob. And I'm like, gosh, it's affordable.
Wow.
And I started asking, so exactly why couldn't you afford 500 bob? Exactly why? What do you do in life that brings you to a point where you can't afford to pay 500 shillings for bail? But as I was going through all these conversations of getting to understand and really feeling, no, this is not right, I could talk to my former colleagues and tell them, let's bail out some of these women, surely. So by the end of that week, my family had come together, my uncles, and gotten for me a lawyer, and I was bailed out. So you can imagine them seeing me walk out.
With $1 million
Bail.
and they have 500 bail. And they are wondering, okay, $1 million.
And you've left.
And they've even told you Utaskuma.
Exactly, because they've been here for months, for years,
Yeah.
with their 2,000 bob, 1,000 bobs. And, you know, I left. I was glad I had left.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't want to be there. But in me, I was like, that's not right. It's not right. Those women stuck with me. They stuck with me. The fact that they had helped me with bar soap to shower. Because I arrived with nothing. And just seeing how they sliced that bar soap. And in my house, I don't even think about bar soap.
Yeah. Oh.
And bar soap is life for them. The way they share the sanitary towels to a point they are sharing panties. No, this is not right. So they stuck with me. But as much as they stuck with me, I have a case ahead of me. So I come out and my boss calls me, and the first thing is, you need to sign your termination letter. You've been we've seen you on TV, you're in the newspapers, you're all over. We really can't have you at work.
No.
And I understood. Your colleagues will not, I mean, banking is a trust affair. If you can't trust me, you don't know when I'll be snooping around and stealing more of this money I'm being allegedly told that I've stolen. The customers are asking, oh my goodness me, that manager was a thief.
Oh no.
According to what they
Oh
read.
no. That is so unfair.
And you know what? Everyone knows about it thanks to the media. And I'm thinking, God, how on earth did you allow this to happen for me? I mean, God, we've journeyed together ever since I was a 9-year-old girl. You know me. You know what I have done. You blessed me with this career. You blessed me through it all.
How?
What went wrong? Exactly what went wrong? And as I'm asking all these questions, there's a deep belief in me. These people are adamant that I did it. Some are saying they know I did not, but I have to carry this cross. But there's something I know. I know the God that I serve. He has always come through for me. Always. He's a God of justice. He has never been defeated.
That's his name.
He is the one. He is my only. My only. The whole world was blank for me. The only thing that made sense to me was God. And that's what I hang on to. He will show them. He will show them.
And that's the best place to hang.
I'm telling you.
In the presence of God.
And
Where you just say, you know what,
yes.
God?
Show them.
Do your thing.
Exactly.
Do your thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you know the bottom of the truth. Vindicate me. Show them. Show them and vindicate me.
A few years ago, my husband and I wrote a book on marriage works. So, why is it falling apart? There are so many amazing stories in this book that are really, really life transformational. These stories will totally change your way of thinking where marriage is concerned. We've been married now for 23 years. Best friends, it's been beautiful, and we believe God that it's going to continue being beautiful because we are anchored on Christ. He is the solid rock on which we stand. If you can get yourself a copy of this book, it's going to bless you. Many marriages have been healed by this book. Get it.